goals. Next, please. Next slide, please. This is a student's experience on engaged research. Even though we promote engaged research, we understand its challenges, and this is her reflections, and I think it's quite important since there are a number of postgraduate students who are in the audience, and I hope you think about engaged research as a mechanism for future studies in research. She said that there has to be a willingness to learn and to be wrong. It's important. The rigor emerges through collaboration. Co-researchers fact check. They add additional insights. They make the work much better. It is important to conduct research with an ethic of care and relational humility. She says, as she recognized the limits of her own knowledge and epistemic agency of others from whom she could learn. Engaged research requires accountability by honoring the knowledge that others have shared. This means going back to people with ideas and sharing next steps. Data collection is a back and forth dialogue rather than a one-way and episodic extraction of information. Ethics is ongoing rather than a tick box exercise. Where possible, her approach to ethics has been contextual. It is situational and practice-based. It is grounded in research collaborators' subjective experiences. Ethics, like the construction of knowledge, is relational. As research collaborators have responsibilities to one another in a participatory relationship. Where ethical concerns have risen, she has placed dialogue and negotiation with partners over abstract rules and principles. Next, please. This is important for all of us to consider. Who is considered the community? When we talk about university and we talk about community outside of the university, we are creating a binary. Who does the university collaborate with? Who is paid to do the research? And who is reduced to the status of a volunteer? She was asking herself these questions that arose from her community-based participatory research experience. How do engaged researchers navigate the time constraints and the pressures to publish in an accelerated academy? How do they balance institutional demands with the desires and hopes of their co-researchers? Very important when we look at engaged research. Final slide, please. So in conclusion, we do not negate the need for traditional conventional research, but we are saying it is time for engaged research because it reimagines knowledge production as a democratic, as a reciprocal and socially just process. It advances social justice and especially epistemic justice and transformation of ourselves, of others, and of the institution and the organization. It bridges university-society divide, there's an echo, through community engagement. Knowledge must serve humanity. And for the good of the public, it is all-encompassing. Despite its challenges and tensions, engaged research in higher education can serve as a catalyst for both knowledge creation and social transformation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Maggie. I hope you heard our club. Can you make it louder for her to hear? We really have appreciated your elaborate explanation of what engaged research in institutional of higher education stand for, the knowledge production that requires a community voice. We appreciate that. And you have elaborated the issue of innovative paradigm shift. Thank you so much on that. I hope you start around, remain around for questions and answers that are to come immediately after our second talk. Now we have one of us, one of our own, and none other than Professor Fikilepi Twane, who is a global leader in musicology and mentorship, and she's serving as a full professor of music and head of the Department of Creative Arts. We really are very, very honored to have her around to speak to us on ethical conflicting in democratizing research. Please welcome. Let's give her a stronger clap.
Thank you, Prof. Honored guests, my honored guests as the postgraduate students who are sitting here. I'm really appreciating that you are here today, you know, to learn about research and all these issues that we are problematizing. And yes, thank you. That is my topic, but I just want to highlight certain things. Is the choir here? Okay, can you please come closer? I want to do something because now I'm feeling that people are tired and they've been listening a long time. Does anyone in the audience know the song that says, Bendini kelele datindi nabo abantu bam abazalana nam phakaman sicule bendini kelele datindi nabo abantu bam abazalana nam naba abazalana nam naba abazalana nam naba abazalana nam naba abazalana nam bendini kelele ngathi ndinabo abantu bam abazalana nam bendini kelele ngathi ndinabo abantu bam abazalana nam naba for the song. Okay? Yeah. Because we don't have time, I'm not going to ask you to do it again. Sorry. Yeah. But at least you did something to help me here. Now, Mr. Manuel, are you in the room? Did you see what I did? Are you going to ask me about ethical clearance? Are you asking me for a consent form? You see what my topic is about. Ethical conflicts in democratizing research. All right? And as creatives in the research space, this is one of the aspects that we are grappling with. We are asked, Prof. Chili, for ethical clearance, consent forms, encrypting the participants when they perform. And the artists out there that you are working with, they don't bother about those things. Do you know why? Because they want to be in the limelight. They want to be on stage and you are busy asking them for ethical considerations, consent forms. You're talking about anonymity of participants. Then you talk about me being an artist. You want me to encrypt myself when I'm performing, and yet I'm doing a self-study of my own songs that I have composed. All right? Yes. So that's one of the problems. And having said that, I do want to say this is not an application for the creative artists or the artistic scholars to say we want a free ride, you know, on getting research funding. No. We do adhere to ethical clearances and conflicts that are there. We do worry about theoretical philosophies and frameworks. We do worry about relevant methodologies to conduct research in the creative space. All right. But the questions that we have are questions like ethical conflicts in democratizing research in whose eyes? Is it in the eye of the participant? Is it in the eye of the institution? And to what extent does that benefit research in the creative space? All right. Then my other concern, which I am problematizing in this presentation, relates to ethics committees. And this has been mentioned before by one of the speakers. And in my case, particularly questioning the extent to which the ethics committees are open, transparent, and ready to promote research to solve social problems in our communities. For an example, accessibility of publishing houses for creatives in the university space, and their reception and transformative pedagogies and alternative research like decolonization, Africanization, indigenization in the creative space. We do problematize the issue of closed networks and gatekeeping in producing research and publishing for creative artists. All right. So what then is the solution? I want to believe that at this stage where I am, I have realized, Prof. Chili, that one has to work on a publishing house for creative outputs, because there isn't one in the country. A publishing house for creative outputs and for journals in the creative arts. We really need that. There are very few that we have. All right. So my presentation, I'm going to ask the person who's helping me with the slides now to be ready. As much as I've taken a practical storytelling approach to the presentation, I do want to assure you that the scientific rigor in democratizing research and in producing research of any kind in the creative arts or in the creative space, you know, they are adhered to, well observed and maintained within this space. We do interrogate and articulate theoretical philosophies, as I've said. In framing research, we are pedantic about relevant methodologies that apply and that will accommodate transformative pedagogies and other alternative pedagogies. Now, can we get to the next slide? When I spoke earlier, a comment about producing creative outputs and tapping into the intellectual property rights for artists, it's something that is happening. Collecting royalties, it's something that is happening for monetization or commercialization of research. Now, I'm mentioning this, I forgot the first time to indicate that the best example that I can make, which you will all know here, is that of the song and dance Jerusalem. Isn't it? Do you remember that one? Which made international waves. And the artists are fighting because they are collecting huge sums of royalties out of that. All right. Now, I want to talk about, there is a social media issue that has been trending. I think because you are young people, you know about this. We listen. Let's come again. We listen. We listen. We don't judge. Okay? I have been introduced to you as a full professor in music in the creative arts department. But there are certain things that you don't know about me. Ne? Do you know that I've been in a prison cell for 7 years? I can remember. We listen, don't judge. We listen, we don't judge. I've been in a prison cell for 7 years. And within that space, I've also been to a lot of other prison cells in different units of the prison. I have interacted with hardened criminals. I've interacted with those who are in medium correction. No, you listen, you don't judge. I'm telling you my story. I promise that it will be my story. Now, why did I go to prison? I went there to conduct research. Aha. We listen, we don't judge. I went there to conduct research for 7 years. That was for my master's degree and my PhD. I had a lot of fun there, you know. And I realized at that point, Prof. Chili, that we're always looking at people who are kind of normal, who are doing right things. I was appalled to find out the amount of talent that was in the prisons among the people, the young people there. And I went there because I was in a church that had a ministry that was called a prison ministry. And this is where I learned that we have a lot of musicians behind bars. We have what kind of musicians? Musicians behind bars. And that was part of the topic of my research. And the interesting thing about them, the irony is that being myself with the stature that I came with, but I worked with those people 7 full years. I never ever thought in my life I would enter a prison cell or even a prison door. But it happened, and I'm a professor today because of that. Now, when we talk about ethical conflicts in democratizing research, I want to highlight, the previous speaker, spoke about engagement. And in my case, I'll look at ethical considerations as well. The first part that you need to nail as a researcher, to whichever community you are going to, is your entry strategy. It took me about 18 months before I went into the cells for 7 years, just to study that environment, to get to know who was who in that environment at the time. I've spoken to the commissioners in that department. I've interacted with the Correctional Services Research Department because they had that. And while the university is talking about anonymity and confidentiality, especially with vulnerable people, those are correct things that should happen. You cannot just barge into that prison environment, you know, without those issues. At first, they matter the most to the people who are in the correctional entities. But you need to remember that at the back of your mind, you are going there for a purpose. You are going there to sell your art. You are going there to sell your research that you want to conduct with them, not about them. All right? So you need a very solid strategy. You need to plan. That 18 months, I used it to plan very carefully. How was I going to enter that environment? Who am I going to talk to? How am I going to conduct this research? What kind of methodology am I going to use? And I landed with the participatory action research model, which worked tremendously for me. Now, when you go to a community to conduct your research there, remember that you need that community to buy into your research idea. You need them. You need them to agree with you so that they will not drop you out while you are conducting the research. You need to establish their ownership of the research from the very word go. So what kind of tool do you need there? You take off the hat of being a university professor or a doctor of music. You take it off. You become a human being. Sometimes you become a mother, sometimes a sister, and you need to develop very sharp listening skills. Because we have a problem as researchers. When we go to the communities, we think we are listening to them, but you are half listening. And also you're not hearing what they are saying. What problems are they coming up with? What solutions are they engaging you with in conducting that research? So you need to be prepared. And so in my journey, I had to prepare 2 proposals. And I'm talking here about ethical conflicts in democratizing research, you know. 2 proposals. One was for the university that I was going to do my PhD with. The other one was for the Department of Research in the Correctional Services Department, because I needed to be clear and transparent. This is how I'm going to conduct my research. These are the research techniques and tools that I'm going to use. And it is for this reason that when I supervised one of the PhD candidates, that I graduated on Friday, the university that she's studying with, I will not mention the name. When she defended her proposal and presented, then she was asked, what are you going to do about the participants? Because research ethics believe that you need to encrypt their faces so that they are not seen, you know. And my immediate response there was that I shared my prison experience. Why they wanted me to do a research proposal for them. And in that proposal, I indicated the audio-visual tools that I was going to use, that I'm going to take photographs of them, I'm going to take videos of them. And it was not a problem. The proposal was needed so that they can look at the strategy that I was going to employ, everything else that I was going to do, so that they can approve it. So there was no question, Mr. Manqele, about encrypting the faces of the participants. And the other aspect of it was that the participants themselves, when you worked with them, they said to me, when I gave them the letters of confidentiality addressing anonymity issues, they said, Dr. Twani, we don't know what you are doing, what you want us to do, because we are in this research so that we can be seen, so that people can know that we have changed, we are changing, we are doing good things. We want to be seen in a good light. Ne? Another example, the artists are saying, we don't even want to sign those confidentiality forms. I think in one case, only one signed it. And the rest of them said, no, remember, we are artists. We are freelancers. We need to make money. If we are in your research and now you hide our faces, the public is not going to know that I have a talent and I can perform, and therefore that will lend me the next gig which I need. Huh? So what did I do? I listened and did not judge. All right. But now the important thing is that in your write-up, you need to be very upfront and transparent about what has transpired. There is scholarship that is backing up what you are doing. So you need to justify what you are doing. Now, when we come to the issue of publications, I'm not sure now where that debate is, Prof. Chili, in terms of graduate students publishing before they graduate. There's been talk of that in South Africa. And the dynamics of that is how far does the Research Ethics Committee go and research what are the imperatives and dynamics in the communities? What do the researchers from the community want in terms of how you interact with them? I'm not sure if we're really addressing those kind of issues. And if we are not, I believe it's time that we do, because they have an impact on their participation and on the roles that they are hoping to lend in the future. Now, I'm summing up. There are a lot of things that I wanted to say here, but because of the time, I'm going to cut it short. I can send through the slides afterwards. Now, if you look at the picture here, you have two different groups. And remember, I'm talking about ethical conflicts in democratizing research. We want to democratize research. How ready are we in terms of our ethical issues and addressing those when it comes to different community spaces that we are working with? Now, there you see two groups, and obviously the orange uniform tells you who those people are, isn't it? Yes. Who are they? They are offenders. We call them offenders. We listen, we don't judge. We call them offenders. And you can see that they are holding music scores, although you don't see the notes. But trust me, those are music scores. And when I interacted with them, some of them could not even read. Some were illiterate, semi-literate, and there were few who were literate. But if you look at them there, they are holding those music scores. And some of them were reading those music scores upside down because they can't read. You know that? But because they want to conform, they want to look like researchers, they want to look like respected people, then they wanted those papers. And now in the research process, this is why I love participatory action research. You take them through those processes so that they are at a point where they can read and write the music using the two music languages that we have, tonic solfa and staff notation. The picture next to it, if you can please go back to that picture. The picture next to it. Remember, I'm talking about ethical conflicts in democratizing research. Now you can see that group. They have a similar uniform. They kind of neat and tidy. They look a bit organized. And that group is a group that had performed in a graduation ceremony at a university. And when I was asked, I can't remember how the communication went, but I was asked to bring a group. I brought them. And there they were, performing on stage. And now, remember, it's a graduation. Immediately, the house caught on that that group was a group of offenders. It was like, now, what I question is, who is unethical? It was the audience and not the participants. We're talking about ethical conflicts in democratizing research. So as soon as they learned that these were guys from the prison, then the news started to do the rounds in the entire Great Hall, you know, that these people were offenders. And no one could believe that they would be as organized and sing as that. And that's research for you. But then we can go to the last slide. Now, in the last slide, this is about the choir, the UniZulu choir. The recorder ensemble of the department is not there. And you will see the orchestra. This orchestra is an orchestra from Soweto. It is called the Ionian Orchestra. Prof. Chilio department funded this project, if you didn't know, last year during the Heritage Week. They came over. They work with the department. We had a master class, we had rehearsals with them, and ultimately a performance. Thank you. This is the project that we are currently working on. We initiated it last year. And at the moment, the pace is very slow because we were waiting for the approval of those important documents from Mr. Bangale's office. Mr. Bangale, you are my victim today. Now, what was happening here was that, I don't know how many of you know about the orchestra. An orchestra is a Western music concept where you have a number of instruments and they sit in a semicircle. They play the violins, they play the cellos, they play the flutes and a lot of Western music. But we are working on a project because we are an institution that is advancing African thought. And we are being asked to incorporate indigenous music, traditional music, African systems into our curriculum. So what we're doing here, we were initiating this idea, piloting it to see how it will work with that orchestra. And in the picture, when it's played, you will hear and see that there's also an indigenous ensemble group, which we call Indabuko. So we brought these groups together to see how they can learn together and what kind of methodologies are appropriate for that situation. And this is where we realize that the indigenous learning methods that we don't write about too much, they worked the best for this project. I'm talking here about oral transmission of the music. The orchestral players are listening and to the indigenous artists, they are listening to the choir, and they are learning, you know, what they are playing, and then they imitate the songs that were being played in their own Western instruments. And the outcome of that was phenomenal. And we then realized that this indeed is something that can work. And as I am closing, I want to close with that song, with that performance, my technology helper. And in closing, I do want to say, because when it comes to an end, I will not come back. As I indicated, I want to applaud and commend the young researchers in the room, because today you've received a lot of important knowledge that you can put into test. I want to applaud you for your boldness, your bravery in taking up the challenges of becoming a researcher. It is not easy. I've gone through the path because the academic talk also makes it difficult because you first have to understand those concepts. But the scientific rigor is essential and it takes you a mileage. And I do want to say the practicalities of handling research are quite easy if you are using the right methodology and relevant methodology. And also, they are very much achievable, the results. You just need an enabling environment like the UniZulu. And that will help you to think about innovative ways to make the communities buy on your idea because they are producing and creating knowledge with you. Now, there's a scholar that I like. He wrote his works a long time ago, 1986, Van Beinum. He talks about the theory, of equalizing the playing field. In other words, that means that you work on the conscious and the subconscious mind of all the participants, even those who are coming from the university. Somebody spoke about the attitude. You change your attitude when you go to the communities because you have to be at the same level for you to be able to work with those people. You can't dialogue, you can't discuss, you can't work with people that you do not love, people that you do not value, people whose knowledge you do not respect. So that is what community engagement and those strategies that you need to prepare yourself for. They are important. Otherwise, you do not win in the journey. And with that, I thank you very much. Thank you. We listen, don't judge.
We listen. We listen. Very wonderful discussion given to us, and she has also done the closing remark. Mine is very easy. It is to share some prizes that we have. Are you ready? Are you ready? The first prize goes to the first person who asked the question this morning. There's a lady who asked the question in the morning. Was she? Asked the question. You asked the question in the morning. Are you with me? There's somebody who asked the question in the morning. She must have to get a prize. Yes, there she is. You forgot you asked the question in the morning? Who asked the questions? Who was the second person to ask a question? At the back there. Now I ask a question, because those are the questions which were asked by you. The first question I ask is, what is the University of Zululand planning to establish in promoting innovation research? What is it intending? Who has the microphone? Move faster. And be specific. Put it on.
They are planning to establish technology station and innovation hubs.
Correct. Get him applause. The other question now comes, what type of graduate students should we produce? This lady here. Get the microphone. Can you put the microphone on for them?
I think it's to produce skilled graduates.
To produce?
Skills graduates.
Skilled graduates. There's one word is missing out of that. Give that second, the guy next to you. You're almost there.
To produce graduates that will contribute to industrial growth.
I think she is closer to. Give the place to her. Is the well-skilled graduates. Okay. More prizes are coming. What do we mean by to decolonize research? What do we mean by to decolonize research?
Thank you. By decolonizing research, we mean we do research across our country and across Africa, so that when we innovate or produce new things, we produce things that are relevant to us.
Producing graduates, doing research that is relevant to the African context. Yes. Correct. This one, it must be almost to all. You get it correct. How many years did our professor was in jail, in prison? Give one guy there. How many years?
7 years.
And if it's 7 years, then how many?
18 months.
How many?
18 months. Yes, 18 months.
Okay, to get it correct, how many clearance, ethical clearance did she apply for?
How?
The same person, you answer. If you don't answer, you don't get it.
2.
2. Okay.
Yes.
Do you have more prices to go? How many? Oh, okay. What is the full name of TIA?
And please do not use AI because you guys are using AI.
Give this guy next to you. This guy next to.
Technology Innovation Agency.
Ah, correct. But Dr. Buthelezi talked to us she's from Moses Kutane Institute. Name one opportunities that are available for the postgraduates. That lady next to you. No, that lady next to you. Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I have seen your hand.
Which lady? Me.
Yes.
Oh, Okay,
Closer. I want to hear.
okay, they have data collectors and they provide a bursary for postgraduate. Like this year, they provided honors.
That's correct. You have been very, very alert.
Yes.
Sean talked to us, and one thing he talked about, I want to know, what does innovation system refer to? Innovation system refer to, don't Google. He talked about that. I can see some people trying to Google. Nobody got that? Okay. That guy next to you. Yes. The one who is next to you. Yes.
Building local and dynamic competencies to learn and innovate.
To do what?
Building local and dynamic competencies to learn and innovate.
That's correct, because and finally, how many now left? 2. Dr. Maggie talked to us, and she talked about what is engaged research. She talked about research, engaged research. Give to that guy next to you.
It's a critical response to traditional ways of conducting research for knowledge products that often privilege academic expertise while marginalizing community voice.
Correct, responsive research. And this is now the last one. What is integration of local knowledge into research entails? What does integration of local knowledge into research entails? It's a tough question. Any integration? You are Googling. Oh, you have, there is a heart there. No, that one, you already got one. Yeah. There is a heart that side. Yeah, that lady. Okay.
Can you please repeat the question?
I can't hear you.
Can you please repeat the question?
Oh, and then why are you asking for the microphone if you didn't hear the question? What integration of local knowledge into research entails doing what?
It decolonizes the Western knowledge.
No.
Integrating.
No. There's a heart there. So it means that we have to go back with our prize. Okay. No, the guy behind you there. Okay, there's a guy there in at the corner there.
Bridging the gap between the academia and the industry.
No. No, you're not getting there. That was discussed by Maggie, Dr. Maggie.
What was the question?
You don't know. She talked about it.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Can you please confirm the question again?
What does integration of local knowledge into research entails? What does it mean?
Okay.
What do you need to do that?
Do you have to look at your surrounding, what is needed, then after that find a way to answer a question which is lacking in your surrounding?
That price, unless somebody wants to get a true answer, she's almost there. Let me hear from this lady in black there. No, the one behind there. Yes. Although I know people are Googling.
Reach the gap between industry and research innovation.
No. Give it to the person who has answered there. It entails doing participatory research.
I think it's
That's the answer. There is a guy, the person here who.
it involves the process of combining knowledge of
No, it's the prize has already gone. I thank you all for quite participating. That lady who talked, said that guy who talked about it involved the community something there. I know you are all hungry, but before I release you for lunch, I need to thank you all, those who are present here, those who are online. I know you all have been given a closing remark. We can't thank more than the organizers of the research office, all those who have played the role. We wish to call upon to be entertained by the creative art performance, and thereafter we will proceed to the exhibition. Once that is done, you proceed for lunch. And I welcome you all, and I thank you for quite a good participation. Thank you. The creative art. Are they not performing?
Mrs. Zika said the creative art is not going to perform today.
They are not performing?
Yes.
Why then have you put in the program there?
I think it's the old program.
But this is the program is here. It's already here. Performance by creative arts.
No, it's from the HOD from creative arts, which is Professor.
Performance creative art.
I'm not sure, but
Why are you Yeah. It's very serious. You discuss this thing.